Hey guys, welcome back to the Marking Out Network. I'm Neal Pretty Boy Thomas here. Today I'm going to be telling you my predictions for the Elimination Chamber 2023. Is Sammy going down or is he going to pull off the biggest upset in wrestling history? Stay tuned and find out because I'm going to tell you. All right, so the very first match I want to get to is Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. I'm a huge Bobby Lashley fan. I got to tell you right out the gate, I am a big Bobby Lashley fan. And not so much a Brock Lesnar fan, but that's besides the point. Doesn't really matter in this scenario, in this case, in this match, particularly because I do think Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley is going to be the very first match on the card. Not only is it going to be the very first match on the card, my expectations for this match are not very high like many people. If you look at the previous two other matches, we're not the 5-star classic barn burners that I think sometimes we build up in our head that it's going to be. Granted, but Brock Lesnar, incredibly limited. He's been limited for a long time. Bobby can do a little more. But this is the third match, this third one-on-one meeting between the two. Bobby got the win at the Royal Rumble 2022. Brock Lesnar got the win at Crown Jewel. So now we're tied up 1-1. And it's funny, as I'm recording this, watching SmackDown from tonight, this is probably going to be posted tomorrow, which is actually today. This is when you're going to see it. Is Bray Wyatt ends up calling out Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar. So basically the winner of the match. Now, earlier on, my prediction was, all right, so it's going to be a no contest. You're not going to have either one of them come out with a clean victory, and that's going to set up a WrestleMania match. Well, I guess because Bray Wyatt came out on SmackDown tonight, that's going to change the whole complexion of WrestleMania. And now my very early prediction was it was going to be them facing off at Elimination Chamber. It was going to be a no contest, however you want to put it, disqualification, double countout. I think a double countout would work. Actually, people would hate it, where they fucking hate double countouts because you don't get a victory for either competitor. So it's like, all right, well, that kind of leaves a unsatisfying taste in your mouth, kind of like kissing your sister. It's just like whatever. But that was going to be the finish I had planned because this was going to set up the WrestleMania match, which I was going to put them in not Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell, because I think that would have been the culmination and kind of the exclamation point or the period at the end of their rivalry, because ending a rivalry at Elimination Chamber, it's okay, but I feel like a match of this magnitude between these two guys, Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, you need kind of like a WrestleMania payoff, and I don't think we're going to get that now because after what happened with Bray Wyatt. Now that leaves the question. Bray Wyatt calls out both of these guys on SmackDown. Now who's going to go over now? So before I was saying it was a no contest. Now I think you're going to have, I don't want to see either of these matches, really. I don't want to see Bray Wyatt with all this hocus pocus shit, and I don't want to see him go against either of these two guys. So it's like, all right, what's the better match? The better match on paper for me is Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt. And now you feel like it's going to lean towards Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar. And listen, man, Bray Wyatt is something else. He's been riding this hype train for a long time now. He cuts these long-winded promos that never seem to go anywhere, and he speaks in riddles all the time. And the whole Uncle Howdy thing, after that Pitch Black Mountain Dew match with LA Knight, I was sort of kind of on board with all this, but after that, man, I'm completely done with Bray Wyatt. I don't really want to see any more of this hocus pocus bullshit that we're going to get. Now, will it be kind of funny to see him fuck with Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley in this? But, I mean, I guess it could be funny. It could be semi-entertaining. But pretty much LA Knight just totally dumped all over it the entire time they were feuding leading up to this match, making fun of it, mocking it really. So how can you take it serious? And, Uncle Howdy jumping off that stage and completely missing LA Knight in that spot. It's just like, how do you recover for something that was clearly, obviously was planned, but to not go over as well as it did, it was not good. And it's something that I don't really necessarily want to see again. So for my prediction for the Elimination Chamber, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, I don't think we're going to get I don't even know if this match is going to go 15 minutes. I think we're going to get they're going to throw a lot of haymakers. They're going to throw a lot of, big time punches. And I'm going to say Brock Lesnar is going to pull out the victory, and it's going to set up Brock Lesnar, unfortunately, with Bray Wyatt. Don't necessarily want to see that. I know there's a lot of Brock Lesnar fans out there. I'm not particularly one. I've been done with this dude for years now. It's the same old shit, different year apparently. And Brock Lesnar coming out too with the cowboy hat and kind of this like hillbilly, southern accent now. I'm not into that at all. Him coming out, giving his hat away, hugging and kissing babies. Even if I don't even necessarily like Brock Lesnar, but I don't want to see that version of him. He seems like he's having a lot more fun and he's more loose. He doesn't seem on edge. But I want to see a more intimidating Brock Lesnar. This dude's not scaring me, man. He's just not. Granted, is he forced to be reckoned with in the ring? Of course he is. But I don't want to see smiling, joking around about, banging his wife for 6 hours. To me, that's not funny. I know it shows you another side of Lesnar. He can cut an okay promo. Maybe they didn't let him talk. They just wanted to be in this intimidating figure for so many years. Especially he was with Paul Heyman. But this Lesnar, do not care one iota. This match, I hope it's the first match of the night, which I'm pretty certain it might be, because Brock is probably want to get the hell out of there. It's going to be over and done with, and at the very end, Bray Wyatt is probably going to come out and then tease whoever the winner is. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to this at all. It's something that I just want to get over and done with. Let me give you my honest opinion. All right, so moving on to the next match of the night, which I'm actually looking forward to this a little bit more. So we got Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Now, say what you want about mixed tags. I kind of like this dynamic. You got Beth Phoenix, who's a powerhouse. You got Rhea Ripley, who's a powerhouse. That's actually a more intriguing matchup than Edge and Finn Balor. To me, I can't wait to see Beth and Rhea get in the ring more than Finn and Edge, because you feel like you've seen Finn and Edge get in the ring and kind of face each other more often than not. I mean, Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix, they've been trading blows over this, this past couple of weeks. A spear here and that thing. But man, I just wish this rivalry would end already with Edge. This has been going on since last summer in Extreme Rules. This is what kind of started this whole thing, and I just want to see it end finally. But I don't think we are. I feel like how this is going to go, we might see Edge and Finn Balor maybe now in a Hell in a Cell match or some kind of big stipulation match at WrestleMania. But I want to say that this is going to be the end of it, but I don't think between these two it's going to be the end of it. But it's just because Edge has gone away for such a long time and comes back. We're looking for a finality for this rivalry, and we haven't really gotten it yet. And we want it to close because it's literally been going on since last fucking June, and I want it to end already. And a lot of people do, and obviously this has been brewing for a long time, so eventually we're going to have to get a reaching point where it's time to move on for all parties involved. Now, the match itself, I think, is going to be a good match. Edge is going to do his thing. Finn's going to do his thing. Rhea is going to do her thing. I'm really intrigued to see what Beth is going to pull off in this match. I feel, man, she looks like she hasn't missed a beat. She looks in tremendous shape. She is fucking jacked. She looks huge. And that's really the two matches I want to see, a matchup I want to see, Rhea versus Beth. How this is going to go, I feel like Edge and Beth need to win it more because Edge is kind of on his last run. But the way I see them losing is it's going to be Rhea getting the pin on Beth. So you protect Edge. Finn looks semi-strong. Beth is the one that doesn't have anything to lose in this. She has less to lose and really nothing to gain. Obviously, she's a Hall of Famer and she's an all-time great. But if she wins, you're not building up her momentum for anything. I don't think she's going to be at WrestleMania. I could be wrong. But I feel like Rhea Ripley, because she is going to face the Queen, she is going to face Charlotte at WrestleMania. And this is what a lot of these predictions come into play, too, because you not only got to see who's going to win this match, but what is it going to offer? What opportunities are going to be after that? And because WrestleMania is the next biggest PLE, slated, this stuff, whoever wins at Elimination Chamber actually matters. So I think Rhea is going to get the pin on Beth, and I feel like not only that, she'll hit the Riptide on Beth and get the 3 count, but I think there's going to be a spot in the match where Edge is going to try to either spear Finn, and Finn's going to pull Beth in, and Beth is going to take the spear, and then there's going to be like somebody throw somebody out the ring. There's the ref's already down or something like that. Dom's probably going to interfere, and Damian Priest is going to be out there, so it's going to be like chaotic. And then Edge is going to hit the spear on Beth, totally be shocked by it. Somebody hits their finishing move on him, throws him out the ring, and then either Rhea hits the Riptide, picks her up, hits the Riptide on her, or just pins her like that, 1, 2, 3, and I think that's how Rhea gets the win. But I'm actually looking forward to these two going at it more than anything, and I think it's going to be a good match. By the way, the Montreal crowd, we're going to touch on this a little bit later, but the Montreal crowd I think is going to be really hype from start to finish, and it's going to be amazing. The atmosphere in this place is going to be fucking amazing, and I think you could feel it in the building. The anticipation, especially for the Roman Sami Zayn match that we're going to talk about later, it's just they're going to feel like, man, they're going to blow the roof off the joint. But I do believe Rhea and Finn go over in that one. Now, the next match is really intriguing because you have the Elimination Chamber match with Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, Natty, Natalya, Asuka, Carmella, and Nikki Cross. Now, this match, let's be honest. We all know who the favorite is. It's Asuka by a million fucking miles, right? We all know that Asuka's the heavy, heavy favorite. So if you put money down, put money down on Asuka. I'm not telling you to gamble, but I'm just saying if you're going to do it. But that's a match that you want to make sure that not only does Asuka look strong, but I feel like in a way you have to build up Raquel Rodriguez. She just can't lose. She has to look strong as well. She might get 1 or 2 eliminations. Liv has been in this, what is her 4th Elimination Chamber match? Now, she has the experience. Now, kind of like the underdog role is, Liv. She still kind of plays that underdog role, even though she's super popular. She's super a fan favorite. She's former SmackDown Women's Champion. So she's been there before. She's been to the mountaintop before. But she still kind of plays from this underdog role. And my only problem with this is with Liv is now she lost back-to-back matches this week on Raw and SmackDown. My only gripe is if you're booking somebody in Elimination Chamber, at least give them the opportunity or chance to make it seem like they can win. Liv just lost 2 matches this week. So what threat is she actually in the chamber? I know a lot of people think wins and losses don't matter in WWE. Well, they should, because now Liv has 0 momentum going into the Elimination Chamber, and the WWE announcers all the time, they're always talking about, they're riding high. They have a lot of momentum going into the next pay-per-view or whatever big match they're going into next. So momentum obviously is important if they keep mentioning it on TV, and Liv has absolutely none of that. Asuka has all the momentum. Nikki Cross, 0 momentum. Carmella just came back. A lot of people felt like me personally shouldn't even be in the chamber. I would have Piper Niven in the chamber because I feel like Piper's, big, strong, and she's going to muscle a lot of these girls, kind of whip them around, throw them into the cage, maybe a splash off the top rope, something like that, something dynamic. I don't understand what she would actually offer in this kind of match. She's not really a high flyer. She's going to do moonwalk and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's cute and fun, but what does she actually do that's going to be noteworthy or memorable in this kind of match? I don't think she's going to do jack shit. Natalya Natty is somebody that she always finds a way in these kind of matches, and it's remarkable how she's maintained and kept her career in the spotlight for such a long time. She's a very technical wrestler. I'm not going to bash her wrestling ability, but she's not the most exciting kind of wrestler in this matchup. I would have had Shotzi Blackheart. Say what you want about Shotzi. I would have switched out Natalya for Shotzi just because at least Shotzi is, I don't want to say reckless, but wild and unpredictable in a way. At least she's going to give you a spot or two that you're going to be like, holy shit, that was pretty good. What is Natty going to give you? A sharpshooter, an arm drag, or something like that. We're not trying to have a technical masterpiece. It's an Elimination Chamber. It should be more physical. It should be dynamic. It should be a lot of cool looking spots and stuff like that. You need those kind of athletes and wrestlers in a match like this to really make it. Yeah, sure, you need somebody with experience, but Liv has been around a long time. Asuka's been around forever. That's fine, but I just think the the chemistry between these girls, between these women wrestlers, is not going to be that great. And that's the only reason I'm not as excited. And because Asuka is the favorite, she's such a heavy favorite in this match that it kind of takes away, from being surprised in this kind of match. Now, if Asuka doesn't win, it'd be a huge shocker. That'd be completely, from left field. The only one I can really see is Raquel Rodriguez. She is a powerhouse. She's big and strong. Would she have a good matchup? Would she have good chemistry with Bianca Belair? Probably not. And that's what these girls are going after. So you got to think, though, too, this is an Elimination Chamber match to go against Bianca Belair, who's on the top of her game right now, who hasn't had a real challenger since probably Becky Lynch. And that's been a long time. Alexa, not much of a challenge. And, Alexa is just gone now. And she just, taking time off. So Bianca needs some opponent to bring the best out of her. The last person to do that was Becky Lynch. And I feel like Asuka, this version of Asuka, not the clownish, happy, kind of jovial, fun Asuka that we come to know and love all these years. That's great. But, her career wasn't really necessarily going. She wasn't reaching that level that we're kind of expecting from Asuka. Definitely not the NXT Asuka. And even when she definitely didn't reach the level where she was, carrying the women's championship for, almost a year, or probably about a year. We want to see that level of Asuka, that intimidating, scary, like I can make you tap out in like 5 seconds Asuka. And I think that's what we need. That's the best WrestleMania Raw championship match I can think of. And Asuka versus Bianca Belair, I don't know if it'll necessarily main event night one, but I think it has a chance to do really well. And I feel like these two would have actually really good chemistry. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca ends up losing this either, because you got to think Bianca Belair has won matches against Sasha Banks, a.k.a. Mercedes. She's won against Becky Lynch. Now, if she beats Asuka, you're talking about 3 Hall of Famers, 3 bona fide Hall of Famers, 3 all-time greats in the business that she beat 3 straight years. Now, that's a huge feather in her cap. And then you can already build a resume, Hall of Fame resume for Bianca Belair, because she's beaten, the top ones 3 straight years at 3 different WrestleManias. Not many people could say that. Definitely not many female wrestlers can say that too. So that'd be incredibly impressive for Bianca's resume. But I think Asuka and Bianca, the best match. That's the best match for WrestleMania, and I think that's the way it should go. And if it doesn't, I think it's going to be one of the biggest blunders, the biggest fuck-ups of Triple H's tenure here. I don't know how you can miss on Asuka, this version of Asuka, and not have her go against Bianca Belair. I think it would be a total waste, and something that I think the fans would miss out on. That'd be a great match, great opportunity to see those two go on one-on-one on the grandest stage of them all. All right, so the next match, we're going to talk about Austin Theory versus Seth freaking Rollins versus Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest versus Montez Ford in the Elimination Chamber match for the United States Heavyweight Championship of the world. Now, this match has a lot of dudes that you could say, you can make a case for pretty much anybody in this match. Austin Theory, the Now, is he going to retain? Is he going to pull off? I wouldn't say if it's an upset, pulling off a major victory like this, but it kind of would be, because he's definitely got a lot on his plate. There's a lot of guys in this match that actually can dethrone him. Seth freaking Rollins. Now, Seth freaking Rollins and Austin Theory, along with Bobby Lashley, have been feuding the last few months over the United States title. And the reason I'm not picking Seth freaking Rollins is because obviously he's in a feud, quote-unquote feud, because he necessarily doesn't like Logan Paul. So that's definitely a match that's probably almost cemented. For WrestleMania, it's going to be Logan Paul versus Seth freaking Rollins. They already planted the seeds. And that's, on paper that match is going to be good. Logan Paul hasn't disappointed in the very few matches that he's had. Seth freaking Rollins always delivers. And, man, I feel bad for Seth fucking Rollins, man, because he has been around so many years, and he's yet to main event a WrestleMania motherfucking match, and I fucking hate it. It sucks, man. He gets caught up like in these mid card title feuds. I mean, he did have a feud with Kevin Owens, and what was it last year? He did get a great match with Cody Rhodes. That was a memorable match, but it wasn't the main event. And now, obviously, if this Sami Zayn stuff didn't catch fire, or if Sami Zayn was never put in the bloodline and it was just Roman going about his business, you can easily have inserted Seth Rollins into the main event of WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, and I think people would have been good with that. I don't know how Cody would have factored into that. Maybe split up the titles, one on one night, one on the other. That's debatable too, but I feel like Seth Rollins' path to WrestleMania main event would have been a lot easier if Sami Zayn wasn't pretty much taking over the entire WWE universe with his run in the bloodline. That story caught fire, and it's, one of the biggest stories of the last, decade, 2 decades, even 3 decades, depending on how old you are and how far back you go. But Seth freaking Rollins, I don't think he's going to win the United States title just for the fact that he is going to face Logan Paul at WrestleMania. And now, how do you get rid of Seth Rollins in this kind of match? My idea would be for when somebody gets eliminated, whoever it is, actually Logan Paul coming in to the match and costing Seth freaking Rollins the match. That actually adds fuel to the fire between their rivalry. That adds another layer and dimension, because Seth Rollins just basically said, like, oh, hey, I don't like you. You're just here for the money. You're just a glory hound. You don't really care about the business. That's not enough for me. I need something more than that. I need some depth to that. Why do you really despise him? And what's one more way to despise him? He cost you the championship that you were in the Elimination Chamber for. That adds another layer. That drives that hate that Rollins supposedly has for Logan Paul even more. And obviously, Logan Paul's going to get booed regardless. He's going to get booed out of the fucking building. He can't even talk on the mic without getting booed. So the fact that you have a face in Rollins, you have the heel in Logan Paul, that adds to the fuel to the fire, and it's a perfect setup. That's how Seth Rollins is eliminated from the Elimination Chamber. Now, when it comes to Johnny Gargano and Johnny Wrestling, I've always been a favorite of his, especially, NXT. Johnny Takeover. My God, man. The guy set the record for takeovers. I don't even know how many it was. It was probably like 20, 25 takeovers that he was a part of. Johnny Gargano really hasn't necessarily gone over on the main roster yet. I'm saying yet. He seems like he kind of starts and then something happens and then he comes back, and he's just like, the more we see of Johnny, yeah, he had the thing with The Miz and Dexter Lumis and stuff like that, and that stuff was kind of funny. It was entertaining for a little bit. It almost seems forgotten about now. But Johnny Wrestling, I think, is gonna have a really good performance in the Elimination Chamber. He's another guy that can pretty much do anything in the ring. But I don't think he's necessarily gonna win. Bronson Reed, here's another guy, another former NXT guy. He's a powerhouse, and I think this is really going to showcase him. He's going to throw people around in the ring. He's gonna whip them into the cage. He's going to smash the shit out of them. Shit, he might even jump off the top of the pod or something like that, if he can even do that, and crush somebody to oblivion. And I think that'll be good. A big, strong guy like that. The Elimination Chamber's made for guys like that. They dominate stuff like that. May not necessarily win, because the Elimination Chamber is a long match, and cardio does come into play, especially if he's like the first one out. It's a long match, so you got to have the stamina and the cardio to go a long distance. And I feel like the way to get Bronson Reed out of the match is he'll probably get hit like a wave of finishers, a curb stomp, a pedigree, Austin Theory's finisher, Montez Ford, jumping off the pod and splashing them, got to factor in Damian Priest. So I think he'll just get hit with a barrage of finishers, and that's how you eliminate a big guy like Bronson Reed. So he'll be a threat in the beginning. He'll smash everybody to pieces, but once they all kind of regroup, they can all jump him, and that's how he gets eliminated. He might get 1 or 2 eliminations too. Damian Priest, man, I feel like, man, he's such a good worker, but he's almost kind of forgotten about in this match. I don't really know where he plays a role in this kind of match. Another big, strong guy. He could do a lot of different things. Him and Seth Rollins going at it, I think, would be really good. But Seth Rollins, he could face anybody and have a really good match. Don't think Damian Priest is going to win the United States title. I mean, good. It would look good for Judgment Day to finally kind of get some gold around their waist because if you notice, they're a dominant faction, but they don't got no straps with them. But I think Rhea's gonna probably change that at WrestleMania. But we could talk about that another time. Montez Ford. I've been pushing Montez Ford to be a singles competitor for a very long time because I feel like the Street Profits have plateaued. They haven't got really any better ever since the Usos won both Raw and SmackDown tag team titles. It's really hard for any tag teams to get any kind of momentum because they have the tag team division literally on lockdown. Nobody's been able to beat them. Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, Sheamus and McIntyre, Braun Strowman and Ricochet, none of them be able to come close. The Brawling Brutes, I mean, they had a good match with the Usos, but nobody's able to figure out the Uso problem yet. Montez Ford, we were joking about this on the pod before. He was going to be the Shawn Michaels and of the group, and I feel like this performance, he's going to have a really good performance in the ring, but I want him to go to that next level, eventually become that single star, eventually become that superstar I feel he can have. I can easily see not only Montez Ford be United States champion, maybe even Intercontinental champion, but eventually down the line, WWE champion. Maybe not the Universal or Undisputed Championship with both of them because I think eventually they might split it off, but definitely a WWE champion. I feel like his WWE title reign will end up being like a heel title reign, but that's something that's going to be talked about later if it ever gets to that point. Angelo Dawkins. Speaking of Dawkins, let me cut to Dawkins real quick. The guy's got in phenomenal shape, by the way. You can tell he's working out. He was hearing all those talks about him being the Marty Jannetty of the group, and he's really got his shit into gear. But yeah, kudos to Dawkins for getting in shape. He's had better matches the last probably say year, even last 6 months, 8 months than he's had probably in his whole career. He knew he had to get better. But shout out to Dawkins. Last but not least, Austin Theory, the Now. So Austin Theory is my pick to remain the Elimination, to remain the United States Heavyweight Champion. Somehow he's going to skate by. He might be the last one in the pod. He'll pick up the pieces. Shit, it might even come down to Seth Rollins and Austin Theory again, which I think is going to happen. The way I would book it, let me put my booking hat on. I would have, say, maybe, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, and Austin Theory be the last three, whatever. Bronson Reed gets eliminated. He's walking out of the chamber, whatever. Logan Paul comes up, pushes everybody out of the way, somehow sneaks in, ends up jumping Seth Rollins. He goes down. Austin Theory hits his finisher on Rollins, gets the 1, 2, 3. So you do two things here. You not only set up Rollins and Logan Paul even better than you did before, you still have people hate Theory too, so people are going to fucking hate him winning the Elimination Chamber. So you have Theory winning the match. He's still the United States champion, and then this sets up a potential match with John Cena at WrestleMania, which I think is going to be something that they're going to probably try to do. I don't know if it's not cemented yet, but I think Austin Theory is like saying, oh, the champ is here. He's pretty much mirroring his career after John Cena. He's doing pretty much everything John Cena has done up to this point. The young, brash, arrogant. Only thing he's doing is not rapping. But yeah, Austin Theory is the Now. He comes out and remains United States champion of the world. And I think that would be hated by a lot of people. But again, it probably makes sense when it comes to the booking. Because we're all, guys on the internet, especially wrestling fans like myself, we're all better bookers than Triple H and Tony Khan and everybody else, right? We already see the path. We see the light. We already know what we're talking about. So there you go. Austin Theory retains. The last match, the epic conclusion of Elimination Chamber. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship of the world. This is a match that is probably the most, definitely, as far as I can remember, the most anticipated Elimination Chamber match I can ever think of. I mean, this is like a WrestleMania build without a WrestleMania match already. What can be said about this feud that hasn't already been unsaid? Now, again, Sami Zayn got a huge fucking reaction in Montreal. I mean, the ovation, I don't know how long the ovation was. It felt like 20 minutes. He was literally standing there in tears. And it's something it's hard to capture those moments in professional wrestling. You almost have to catch lightning in a bottle sometimes. And Sammy is in the moment. He is living in that moment right now. He's never probably going to be as popular as he is right now. He's having by far the best run of his career. And just think about this. Last year at WrestleMania, he was getting power slammed by Wee Man and having some weird fucking match with Johnny Knoxville. Just think of the difference a year makes. Like, he was a joke. He was a clown. He was pretty much an afterthought, a backstage segment that really never went anywhere. Conspiracy theories and everybody's against me. He had his Intercontinental title reign, but it just wasn't working. But obviously this is working, and it's working tremendously. And Sami Zayn is taking his career to the next level. Maybe people always thought maybe he just needed the right material and the right angle and the right storyline to finally, showcase what Sami can do. Because obviously he's clearly talented. I necessarily never was a Sami Zayn fan up until this point. Well, I'm kind of getting on board. But that's really kind of where it stops, right? Sami Zayn, as a main event WrestleMania, caliber guy, I'm not believing it still, despite how great this storyline is and how it's kind of captured the WWE universe. I'm not there yet. I'm just not. I feel like Cody Rhodes and Roman is the one true main event you can book, and that is a WrestleMania main event, right? Now, how do we get to that point? So, Roman versus Sami. The roof's going to blow off the joint when Sami comes out. During the match, Roman's going to make Sami look good. He's probably going to taunt the shit out of him. He's going to beat him down and beat him down. Sami's going to have his comeback. And Sami's going to get ultra, razor thin close in beating Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is like the king of the 2.99999999999 kick out. Like, Sami's going to get really fucking close. Really close, but not win. Why is he not going to win? Because if possible, Jey Uso is going to come down. He's going to have this moment where maybe there's a ref bump. Roman is down. Sami's down. Jey comes out potentially with a steel chair. And he's going to have this moment where he's contemplating about all the stuff that's been going on for the last couple years now. Because remember, Jey and Roman, they were feuding before Sami and Jey were, before Sami and Roman were. It was a battle for the head of the table. Roman was like, hey, you come with me, follow me. Jey was against it. They actually had a match, and it was a Hell in a Cell match, I believe, and it didn't work out for Jey. And he ended up almost being forced into the bloodline. He got very submissive to Roman because he wasn't on that godlike level that Roman was on. Now, in the back of his mind, Jay's probably thinking that, like, hey, it should have been me all along. I'm the real tribal chief. I'm the head of the table. But you know that in the end, blood's always thicker than water. Jey never really trusted Sami until Sami earned Jay's trust. And now he's going to have this moment where he's split in half. But I think ultimately he's going to line himself with Roman Reigns. He cracks Sami Zayn with the chair or whatever kind of weapon, most likely a chair, and he's going to help Roman retain the title. Because when has Roman not gotten help to win a match up until this point? And then because it really never was about Sami versus Roman Reigns. It's always been about Jey and Sami, because that was the feud of the year. That was the rivalry of the year, was Sami versus Jey, which was tremendous. It was never about Sami versus Roman. It's always been about Jey versus Sami. And that's where you're going to stem off now. That's where you're going to have, I think the true match should be Sami versus Jey. And then you're going to incorporate Kevin Owens and Jimmy in this too. And then you're going to have your tag match at WrestleMania for the Undisputed tag titles. Now, does Kevin Owens come out and try to help Sami at one point? I would probably say so. It probably will do it unsuccessfully. It could be a lot of ref bump going down. Jey comes out. Kevin Owens comes out. And they're all trying to help their guy win. but I think in the end, Roman ends up, being the victor. You're going to see a lot of disappointing Montreal people. A lot of people in that crowd are going to be devastated. It's going to be like a kick in the nuts, punch in the gut type thing, and we're going to be hanging on, at the edge of our seats in this match. We're going to be every ooh and ah, and like, man, it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions, and it's going to be exhausting by the time we're done with it, but it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be something that we're going to be talking about a great deal, as soon as it's happening, and then the fallout after, because everybody's favorite underdog, Sami Zayn, it will get so close to winning. Now, if he wins, that's going to be probably one of the biggest pops in WWE history, just because of the fact he's in his hometown. The build-up has been so great, and is against, the greatest quote-unquote final boss in WWE history. So we're going to get that aspect of it. Does it seem a little far-fetched for him to win? Kind of. Is it a possibility? Yeah, of course it's a possibility. I mean, anybody can win any match. Anything's possible. But is it likely going to happen? No. And Roman is going to skate by. It's going to be hugs for Jimmy and Jay if they do show up, which I think they will, most likely Jay. And that's how you're going to end the show. And we're going to go home unsatisfied, but then we got WrestleMania to look forward to. And that's it. That's my Elimination Chamber predictions. If you guys like this video, please like, please subscribe, please listen out to the Marking Out Network podcast. Not only on YouTube now, but available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So please check us out, give us a holler, tell us what you think, and I will see you guys next time.